college, I threw every single day. Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working towards winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this live web stream. We are in Brampton, Ontario for CUUC 2023, the Canadian University Ultimate Championship. My name is Etienne Fournier, and I will have the immense privilege of sharing the mic for this game with the most organized color commentator in the whole universe, Chantal Dussault. Thanks, Chantal, for being with us this morning.
Thanks, Etienne. It's such a pleasure to be here with you, with these university teams, and with the Ultimate Canada team.
And before we begin, we'd like to acknowledge that the 2023 Canadian University Ultimate Championship are taking place in the traditional territory of the Anishinabek, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and Ojibwe Chippewa peoples, the land that is home to the Métis, and most recently, the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, who are direct descendants of the Mississaugas of the Credit. We also acknowledge that Brampton resides within Treaty 19 from 1818. We would like to take also a moment to thank our sponsors, BE Ultimate, Discraft, the city of Brampton, for making this event possible. So feel free to visit BE Ultimate on site and give a good look to their amazing gears. So speaking of our game this morning, we are in the women's division. We're in the pre-qualification or the qualification game for Division 1. McGill A from Montreal will be facing off TMU of Toronto University. So Toronto will be wearing the white jerseys while McGill will be wearing the dark jerseys. So Chantal, you have talked to both of these teams. What can we expect? Let's start with McGill.
Yes. So we have I've spoken with both teams, and just to specify, the team from Toronto is called Toronto Metropolitan University, TMU. So from McGill, I think we can expect a lot of athleticism, and the team is just ready. Just great vibes, great energy, and they are hungry for this spot. These two teams have met before this season. They met at the CEEUC, that's the Eastern Championship. And at that meet, McGill came in higher than TMU. McGill came in 4th and TMU came in 10th. So we are expecting to see a great show of athleticism by McGill, but it is anybody's game, Etienne.
And that's what these two teams are here for. But before we look at the first pool of this game, let's talk of a very Canadian, a typical Canadian topic, which is the weather. So far, it's been very good this morning. It's sunny, but the wind kind of picked it up, I feel like in the last 15, 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes from the top of your screens toward the downside of your screen, from maybe a little from left to right. So let's see how it will have an impact or not on the output of this game.
And the temperature as well, it's 11 degrees Celsius, which is slightly cold for us as commentators sitting on the side. But for the teams, you can see some are in shorts. And so it's that kind of weather where it can be tricky for the hands if you're not warmed up. But the sun is out. Should be a beautiful game.
So first pull, unfortunately, dropped by number 29. So first break opportunity to kick off this game for TMU, right on the brick mark. Great pass up the line. McGill defending. Players have 10 stall. to attempt a pass. Disc is floating, and it's unfortunately not caught. So McGill will have a redemption right off the beginning of this game. So it seems like a zony defense. Number
So
three.
TMU is playing a zone defense that they call the chinch zone, which we'll hear a little bit more about. Let's focus on this play here.
Ernest exchanging the disc with her teammate, gaining some yardage, forcing the zone defense to back up. They have a little more breathing room right now. Still great pass. Low release to find a hole in the wall, but miscued, which is saved by Ernest, which is a player to watch for this game. McGill entering the red zone, which is a 20 yards shy of the goal zone. Transition from zone defense to one-to-one defense. Resetting, but it's blocked. Well read, nice layout, but a little too shy. So TMU with the second break opportunity to kick off this game. Nice up the line cut from number 19, Power. Going long. Oh, just a little out of reach for the intended receivers. So TMU missing on their second break opportunity. Still 0-0.
We are seeing the wind does have a bit of an impact on the accuracy of the throws, potentially also the nerves. This team, both teams want to win this game because it's high stakes for this game.
The winner goes into Division 1 and the losers will stay in Division 2. Great pass. It's on the goal line. We are on the line, so it's outside. TMU threatening for the first break point of this game, looking for a reset. It's getting late. Going hammer on the break side, but it's out of reach. It seems that there was a lot of traffic right in front of the handler, which did not allow any space.
It was a good idea to go break side with a hammer, just a little bit long. Again, maybe the wind picked it up a bit.
McGill earning some yardage.
Good
Allow
fake.
with Ernest moving the disc up. Still zone defense. Nice little flick. Nice layout to save the disc by number 3. Going quickly on the opposite side. Mayday on defense for TMU. Their zone defense they went over it, but unfortunately the last pass was just a little too high. Number 17 could not get a grab. Morissette could not get a grab on the disc. So third break opportunity for TMU. First point of the game. Still great inside cut by number 10, Pearson. Now 19, Power having to elevate herself to secure that disc with her right hand. Along the sideline, going long. It's floating, but the wind picked it up and put it out of reach. Illness puts it back into play, going up the line, midfield, going long. Number 47, Kane, hunting it down to secure the first point of the game. McGill securing their offense possession, leading 1-0 to kick off this game.
A lot of great athleticism was seen by both teams really at 10, but let's just mention Ernest here, who was key in not only sometimes maintaining possession of the disc, because through some of the fumbling, she was actually able to recapture the disc in situations where it was being potentially fumbled, but also the throws. So that long throw, which allowed the point to be scored. So great handling by Ernest, number 39.
So Miguel being coached by Alex Lemieux, which has an extensive coaching career, not only in Ultimate, he coached in other sports throughout the last 10 years, but he focused more on coaching Ultimate over the course of the last few years. So doing a great job at supporting this McGill squad.
McGill has 3 coaches. McGill A, this team, which is just such a rich opportunity for this team. So you're right, they have Alex Lemieux, who's coached Royal and Mephisto. They have Leanne, who not only played on this team last year, but was Player of the Year. And they have Sunny, who's been playing for 15 years, including winning Worlds with Vintage and Team Canada. So, yeah, solid coaching team.
Midfield pull by Oana Botos from McGill. McGill playing now, having a taste, giving TMU a taste of their own medicine by playing a zone defense. TMU going resets, not earning but not losing, maybe a couple of yards, but still looking for the opportunity. And here it is, number 5, Pearso, opening herself up in the middle, but going back at the brick mark, going left to middle or to right, and then going back to middle. Not much opening. Following Erdis, number 19, creating some space, going long. Power puts it long, but there was 2 black jerseys denying that pass. Turnover by McGill, their first break opportunity of this game. They are about less than 10 yards away from their own goal line. Going horizontal stack, great cut in by number 9, Piri, with the disc, looking for resets. Find 44, Chen Ouellet, going still on the opposite side, finding Smith, feeding Lapshina about midfield. McGill being forced. Flick. Bottas with the disc, finding Chen Ouellet, trying to earn some yardage. Great up the line pass, going long. Number 9 is the target, but just out of reach. So pretty good disc movement by McGill for
Excellent
this
movement.
break opportunity.
Yeah, we saw Chen Ouellet, number 44, that had that really nice pass to Smith, who is also a great handler. And it just caught a little bit of wind there, and I don't think it did the throw that she was intending it to do.
TMU looking for holes in the McGill zone defense. They're going long, challenging. And number 10, respond to the challenge. Rises up Pearson, saving that long pass, but there was a call. I think it was a travel call where we're reaching out to the observers. So for those who are less familiar with the game, the observers, Ultimate Frisbee is a self-officiated sport. So there is no referees, but the 2 person wearing the orange jerseys are acting as observers. So they will be active in calling the lines to make sure the disc is either in or outside of the field or the end zone. But they will be passive for other calls that are being contested. So it seems that there was potentially a foul call by the defense player from McGill, Spiller. And they are reaching out to the observers to rule out. So let's see the output of this. But nonetheless, what will be the output of this guy? It was an amazing pass by Pearson, going midfield, say, hey, I have a lot of confidence into Ava Pearson wearing number 10.
Yep.
And it was a great battle in the air.
I love
Pearson
that look.
landed with the disc.
And I think it's important to do those long throws, because what it also does is it liberates the front of the field, because then the defense is going to believe that there is a long threat. So I think it is very important to throw those long throws. And Pearson does have a great record of catching those. She's not only a great cutter on this team, but she's also played with Toro and Incognito, other great teams. So I think that was a great look.
Pearson was defended by Lapshina wearing number 8, which is about same height. So a great battle in the air. We have resolved it, so it goes back to Pearson, exchanging the disc at their own goal line, going right to middle. Oh, that was a great bid by Pearson, but it landed before she can get her hands on it. So turnover with McGill in the red zone, threatening what can potentially be the first break point. And it is confirmed by the observers. McGill scoring their second point of the game. First break point, taking an early lead, 2-0 in this game to go to Division 1 in the women's division.
Mm-hmm. You talk about break, and it was also they're taking a timeout. So TMU's taking a timeout. I was going to say that throw was a break side throw by Chen Wallet. And that is also such a power move to be looking at that break side where the defense is not located.
So timeout called by TMU, which are suffering from a 2-point deficit early in this game.
And for those who may not be familiar with the rules of this tournament, both teams have 2 timeouts each that will last 70 seconds. And so per half, I should say. So they can call them when they want. And I think this is a very strategic time to call it, recenter the team, and focus on what strategies they want to put forward here.
So Chantal, what do you think that is being said right now in the TMU squad? Are they talking, well, okay, we need to maybe energize our offense with the disc. We need more movement. We need more cuts in, or maybe a little more pass and run when we have the disc, and we have to find holes into McGill's zone defense. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, probably they're talking about probably keeping the intensity high, and I think it's just also probably a strategic timeout in terms of making sure there's no momentum being built by McGill. In terms of strategy, I think TMU's been doing well. They've had a few unfortunate, throws or drops, but nothing that would warrant a change in strategy per se. McGill is applying a bit of a diamond zone. Maybe that's what the TMU captains or coaches have picked up on, how to counter that zone, perhaps, is what they're talking about. McGill is applying a diamond zone, which is not exactly like the zones that we're used to with the cup. It's more one person on the handler and then a diamond shape into the field. So we'll see if but now TMU is going to be on offense. So I think it's going to be about keeping possession and just making really smart throws.
McGill with the dark jerseys. Ernest pulling it, landing in TMU red zone quickly. Pearson going on their left-hand side. Zone defense. So we are by Montreal once again.
We're seeing that diamond zone defense. So the one person is a rabbit on the handler, and then there's a bit of a diamond formation behind that person.
And we see TMU with number 11 getting involved and crashing in that zone defense. So if I'm not mistaken, well, turnover by Pearson. She could not handle that pass. So another break opportunity for McGill. Ernest with the disc, asking for a cut in, but she goes on the break side. Reset to Ernest. Nice pass and run by number 3, allowing a big hole on the break side. 29 Allard with the disc, finding Ernest. Still McGill being disciplined, but it's hand block.
That was amazing defense on the TMU side. McGill didn't have many options there. The players were very tight on their players, and it ended up in a hand block. Not surprising. Not too many options. TMU doing a great job at that defense, and now they're on offense.
TMU looking to find some holes, but miscuing. Less than 5 yards away from their own goal line. McGill in a great position to score what can potentially be their third point of the game. Isolation of Ernest. She finds herself open. And even if Pearson lays out to block this disc, observers confirm McGill's third point of the game. Montreal leading by 3, scoring their second consecutive break point.
That was a good isolation play in the end zone there by Ernest. well, with Ernest being the target. And we should mention Ernest was on the U24 team. So that's the under 24 women's team that plays for Canada, representing Canada. So she is really one of those top tier players. And so an ISO on her was great. But the defense by TMU was really close on that one. So this is a great
We
game.
are 15 minutes into the game, which is intended to last 80 minutes unless one of the two teams reaches the 15-point mark. So it's a game to 15, and we'll have a halftime either if one of the team reaches the 8-point mark, or if we when we'll be reaching the 40 minutes time into the game. So we have started at 11:35. So
we were saying
minutes.
before, this is a 3-day tournament, and so today's Friday, and the teams are playing to qualify to make it into the Division 1 division, so one of the top 8 spots. And so the winner of this game gets to play with the top 8 teams in Canada, and that's what's at stake here. So both teams are very motivated to win.
Great pull by McGill, but just lands maybe 1 yard out of bounds. So whenever the pull lands out of bounds, the receiving team can bring it up to the brick mark, which is the X you are seeing number 19 Power being onto, which is about 20 yards away from the end zone. Zone defense by the dark jerseys. Power going long, looking for number 28 Shia, but it's just a little too high, and great pressure on defense by the McGill squad. So quickly with a great inside cut, disc is secure by number 0 Spiller. Wanted to reset, but it intercepted by number 3 Pio Quinto, quickly putting it long to Power, but just out of reach. So McGill would put the disc back into play at their own goal line. And we can expect a zone defense by TMU.
Yeah, the wind is pretty much blowing straight up into the handler's face. So a zone defense is called for, certainly, but they're playing person to person.
Great way, like horizontal stack to isolate an open space right in front. But the wind picked it up, put it out of reach of number 63 Wong, and Power back with the disc. Going, great grab by Power, one hand. Going long, floaty disc. Is that inbound? I think it was out of bound. Unfortunately, great opportunity for TMU, first goal of the game. But unfortunately, it's McGill's disc.
What a great catch by Power, number 19 there of TMU. You can see the intensity both teams are putting into this game.
Great inside cut by number 9, Piri. Still kind of a horizontal-ish setup on offense, going vertical, trying to get some momentum to earn some yardage. 25 with a great inside cut. Williams looking for a reset. Tons of pressure by TMU, but great footwork by the reset from McGill. So another up the line, but Power anticipated that, and she's blocking the disc, quickly putting it in the end zone for number 5. Just slightly out of reach from Pearso. Unfortunate. So TMU has threatened so far, but we're not able to convert yet. Horizontal stack. 25 going long, offering yourselves as a target, but going on the reset on the open side. Great pass and run by Smith. Less than 5 yards away from the sideline, going break in order to reach out to Williams. Smith again going long, backing around her mark, and it's completed. McGill in the red zone. Spiller with the disc, resetting to Botas. Trying to get some sort of a stack. 14 players in less than 40 yards. It's always a challenge. You need to be disciplined near the end zone. Buttas offering yourselves as an up the line, but very well defended by TMU. Now at number 25, William with the disc, looking for a reset, flicking it to Smith. Coach Lemieux asking for a timeout, which is called by Anna Smith, wearing number 2. So we definitely heard Coach Lemieux saying timeout, timeout. The coach didn't like what he was seeing. So I guess he gave some advice. Okay, let's take a big breathe in, big breathe out, be disciplined in order to secure that break opportunity.
Absolutely, and I think that in that position, the players were well positioned. McGill, it's just that the cuts were not coming forward or not being free. So I think that they wanted something a little bit more open, a little bit more clean. So great call to do a timeout and to put together a strategy that opens one player up to make that and score.
We've seen that earlier, like McGill having scored by isolating. I think it's Bill Ness near the end zone for this point, even though she was very well defended by Pearson. When you have a lot of room, you're on offense. If you just go out there all out, you will get open. After that, it's just a matter of feeding the disc to you.
They also called the timeout when the disc was with Smith, who was one of their handlers, and so the throw could be anything. Now it could be a backhand, it could be a flick, it could be a break side, it could be a hammer. Looking forward to seeing what strategy they are pulling. Looks like they've isolated Spiller, number 0, in the open side.
So for those less familiar with the sport, the protocol is that the O-line, they set themselves up, and after that the D-line will set themselves up. So as Chantal mentioned, you see a vertical stack with one isolated player wearing number 0 Spiller on the right hand side of your screen.
And the person
number 2, Smith, will put the disc back into play. Let's see how Spiller tried to open herself up. Everybody's going right. Number 9 was going left, but the pass, was that partially blocked? I can't tell, but nonetheless, turnover for TMU at their own goal line. 70 yards away from their first break point, going long midfield, and it's caught by number 5, Pearso, looking for a reset. Great defense by McGill. Tons of pressure, but there was a foul call by number 3, Pio Quinto. She called a foul on number 2, Smith. So you see the 2 players trying to resolve the call. So Pio Quinto claiming that there was a contact on the defense, and it seems it's being contested. So we'll go back to number 5, quickly resolves. Observers ensuring at what stall will be the disc put back into play. It will be put back into play at stall 4.
This is exactly state of the art. This is textbook how Ultimate should be played. There's a call, players discuss it, they resolve it.
I just love how the 2 players also, they use the sign language.
Yes.
Like you cross your 2 arms to call a foul,
Exactly.
and then you can contest by kind of fist bumping your 2 hands. So great, this movement by TMU going long, but it's blocked by number 63. There was a great momentum, but Wong denied that break, that point opportunity for TMU. So McGill back into play in their own red zone. It's getting late, but finding a reset. 25, Williams resetting to Wong, feeding up Williams. It's kind of a horizontal stack. Spiller is on her own midfield, catching that disc. Transition, power, trying to block, but McGill still in possession, but miscued. I'm not too sure who was the intended receiver on that. It was either too short or too long. I guess that's What's so tragic about an incomplete pass?
Yes, it is.
It's too far or too short.
Yeah, we mentioned that was it Spiller that was by herself to receive that pass, and it's because Pearson is doing some really smart poachy D, which is leaving her person free to catch longs. But she's been poaching very strategically up to now.
Power with the disc, looking for an answer. It's getting late. Throwing it on the break side. There was a ton of traffic, but it was blocked by McGill. I thought, no, there's no call. I thought there might have been a call, but no. So turnover favoring the Montreal squad. Wong going open side with Smith going break side. Spiller feeding up, but there's a what might have been, was that maybe a pick call? But it was we're going back 2 passes. I think there was a foul call, an offensive foul call. So number 2, Smith from McGill, discussing with Dagon from TMU. Observers standing by. We are reaching out to the observers. Observers explaining what they saw. If you're not familiar with the sport, well, that's what the sport is all about. When there's a call, you try to figure it out. If you cannot, you can reach out to the observers. But it's all about discussion, even though there's a ton of intensity. And even if the stake is very high, you have to, take a breathe in, take a breathe out, discuss what's your interpretation of the situation, try to resolve it. And it seems like there was no foul that was agreed upon or ruled out by the observers. So we'll go back to Spiller with the disc. Everybody needs to go back where they were at the moment when Spiller had the disc. Disc is in. Vertical stack in the end zone. Great pass and run by Spiller, but there's a poachy, but great control by Spiller, but there was some contact. Was there some contact? Number 3 from TMU was poaching. Pio Quinto was poaching.
Injury called. That's the sign for injury. Just going to take a little walk off the field.
So they will have a substitution. So whenever there's an injury call and a substitute come in, the other team can also change one player that's on the field. So it was a great pass and run by Spiller, which had quite a significant impact on the game's output so far. So one of the key players from the McGill squad.
She was being poached by number 19 there from TMU, but she managed to always be a threat and to make herself quite useful to the team. So unfortunate that she's been injured. Hopefully it can be walked off.
Montreal with the disc, about 4 yards away from what can potentially be their 4th point of the game. They're now leading 3-0. Disc is in. Vertical stack. Attacking the up the line path. Tons of traffic. But 63 Wong getting herself open. We are confirmed. Point is confirmed by the observers. McGill scoring their 4th point. It's their 3rd consecutive break point of the game. Now leading 4-0 versus TMU.
Yeah, we saw it was Chen Ouellet who passed it to Wong in a classic up the line cut. So Wong was behind her and she just ran as fast as she could on a diagonal and caught it in the end zone. McGill's been showing a really good amount of patience with the disc. So not only are their handlers quite skilled at putting the disc where they want with this wind, Etienne, because let's remember that there is a significant wind today. It's making a difference in the throws as my sheets start to fly. And that was a good throw and a solid cut. The player was open, and that's how you score points.
And I believe there was a timeout call also for display. As Chantal mentioned earlier, teams have 2 timeouts per half. So we are 30 minutes into the game, which is intended to last 80 minutes. We are in Brampton, Ontario for Canadian University Ultimate Championship, the 2023 edition. Over 60 teams are gathering here for a 3-day tournament on those beautiful Brampton facilities. Great setup. TMU ready on the receiving end. Montreal wearing the black jerseys on serve. I just love the little execution by McGill. They're just clapping their hands, and then after that, okay, we're ready to pull, girls. So let's go get it. Play some defense.
I would expect a zone here, but let's see what they do. No, they're doing again a match defense.
It's a one-on-one defense, forcing a back end. So changing thing around to try to create confusion. Miscued by TMU. Number 25, Young was the intended receiver, but she cannot control that disc. McGill back with the disc along the sideline. 17, Morissette quickly feeding off her teammate, going off the line. Was that cut in? No, it was just on the line, and the line is out. So 39, Urness resetting it to Kane, going break side, but probably picked up by the wind.
Absolutely.
Which accentuates the angle of the disc.
Saw the edge of that disc just
TMU,
lift.
great pass, great break side, but Pearson could not get a hold on it. It's McGill disc once again in the red zone. Great fake by Urness. Flicking it and running her life out in the end zone, catching it. Nice tiptoeing, nice field awareness by Ernest, providing her team their 5th point and a 5-point lead. It's 5-0 for the Montreal squad against TMU.
Something that's giving the McGill team an advantage, Etienne, is their discipline in centering the stack. And so what that does is it opens up each side of the field. And that's what happened in this case. Ernest was able to do that nice up the line cut, because there was room there and it was not busy. So there's great discipline from the McGill team to be able to have some open space on the field.
Absolutely. And when you have such strong player to defend, it's hard when it's like a one-on-one matchup. It's really about athleticism and Ernest, as you mentioned, she played on the U24 Canadian team last summer, so she's in perfect physical condition, taking great advantage. And I believe there are some ways that you can at least damage control that, like either by really putting your defense body into the way to make sure you either go around or you go back up, and then you can adapt your mark by forcing the player to throw in the end zone instead of resetting it. So you have to find ways to adapt it. And that's what the university tournaments are about. It's about the learning and how do you adapt, and the ability to adapt throughout the tournament will make you go further than any other strategies. TMU with the disc with a one-on-one defense, miscued midfield. Montreal putting the disc back into play. But it's hand block. Number 10, Pearson, second hand block of the game. She's running her lights out in the end zone, scoring TMU first point of the game. Bookend by Pearson, making the D and scoring the point.
That's a great job by TMU. What I'm really appreciating is how tight this match is. So the score is not very high, and how many minutes have we been playing now? Maybe almost 40 minutes, something like this. And so for the score to be this low after this many minutes of play, it's because both teams are showing athleticism and ability to play strong, but mostly strong defense.
So we are 40 minutes into this game. So quickly, the two teams, I believe, if I'm reading this well, they took a quick halftime. So as you mentioned, Chantal, even though McGill is leading by 4 right now, every point was a very well fought battle.
Mhm.
So it's all about execution, and we have seen the leading players of McGill really taking advantage. While you look on the TMU side, number 10 Pearson, which has scored TMU first point, and Power were not able to really have the most impact on the game so far.
Mhm.
But there's still a lot of play, a lot of ultimate to be played, and here's a great defense effort by Power. It's still McGill Disc. TMU with the zone defense. McGill with 4 handlers earning some yardage along the sideline. Quickly moving the disc up. Resetting it. We can hear the players talking to one another. So not allowing the stall going more than 3 points. But great defense by number 33, Cindy Shen. Very well read that anticipation, that pass, I should say. So zone defense by TMU, creating a turnover against McGill, and they now have a break opportunity. But it was once again very well read by Chen Ouellet for the turnover. McGill looking to enter the red zone. Great flick feeding Lapshina. Great disc movement again by McGill. We've said that many times, but they're not allowing the stall to get any higher than 3 or 4. Attacking the break side. And it's confirmed by the observers. McGill, 6th point, taking back a 5-point lead into this game.
So Chen Ouellet making that pass on the break side, and not only great handling, but as you said, great communication. So she's been playing a bit of a backhand, a role in coordinating what's happening on the field and be very communicative. And that's key because there are no secrets. And the more a team can talk to each other and really communicate on the field, the more we can organize the play. We also saw someone, I didn't notice the number, calling the stack and really organizing the players so that there is that discipline that comes through. And that's what we saw there. There was openness. The break side was free. There was a lot of open field, and someone could just cut into it. And Chen Ouellet made that pass, and that was a point.
As you very well mentioned, beyond the athleticism and the skills of ultimate, like the chemistry and the communication, will make sure you are successful on an ultimate court, which we have seen a great display by the McGill squad so far, which led them to a 6-1 lead. So it's very hard to defend also when when you cannot install your stall when the disc is moving, when the stall it doesn't get any higher than 3 or 4. It's hard to defend. You're always like in a catch-up mode, so it's hard. But still, McGill was able to set up the tempo. While in the meantime, Power with the disc, a few 2 yards away from the sideline, going reset. Shot with the disc, with a floaty disc. Was that caught in or out? It was caught out of bounds, unfortunately, midfield. The disc was a floaty one due to the wind that goes from the top of your screen downward, the bottom end of your screen. Still, once again, great disc movement by McGill, even though they're stuck on their guy on their on the sideline. Ernest. Now it's number 1, Nguyen. Quickly, McGill scoring their 7-point, moving the disc from right to left without allowing the TMU defense to set. McGill now leading 7-1 in this game to go to Division 1.
Mm-hmm. They're playing a very disciplined traditional vertical stack, and what they're being able to capitalize on, what they're able to capitalize on now is really the break side. We saw again a series of throws that led to a break side score. So maybe that is one thing that TMU could focus on, is just making sure to close that break side. Looks like they're carefully selecting the lineup for TMU here.
I love the discipline of the McGill squad. You see, when there's a point, all the team huddles on the field. They're calling their line, and then the other players who are not on the line, they get off, and then there's two assistant coach staying on the field giving the last advice before the points. So it's a great choreography, I would say. And it
McGill
makes
is
sure that you
starting- yeah.
communicate what you have to communicate. You know where and when to pay attention.
McGill has a great program that they've got 2 teams, McGill A, McGill B, and this year 7 players came up from the B team. So they really do have a structured coaching program and development program for their players.
Great pull once again by Bottas, wearing number 28. McGill with their zone defense, putting some pressure. Tang resetting it to Laura.
Great focus.
Pio Quinto. 4-handler for TMU, looking for some holes in the McGill defense. Number 44, Chen Ouellet for McGill. As anticipated, that reset pass twice. Now she's shutting it down, forcing TMU to go on the right-hand side, losing some yardage. Suffocating defense by McGill, not allowing any space. Pio Quinto looking to find number 5. There was a foul call. There was some contact. Pearso.
Pio Quinto really communicating to her players where she wants to see them so that they can adapt to this diamond zone that McGill has put on them.
No contested foul, so the disc will remain a TMU disc. Nice little flick. Pio Quinto telling her teammates, give me something inside. We have tendency to run away from the disc, but you have to run into the disc to offer yourselves as a great target. 33, Shen. Just resetting about their brickmark. Great grab by Laura. She's being pressured by Chen Ouellet, Laura, so far. So once again, very tight defense by the McGill squad. Looking for some holes.
The handlers don't really have access to that middle field. The coverage is quite good by McGill. So it's very difficult to get the disc up to midfield or longer.
Here's a miscued that McGill was expecting or tried to create. It comes. There's a statistical rule in Ultimate that out of 10 passes, 1 will go down. So the more passes you force your opponent to do, odds are in your favor in regards of turnover. But in the meantime, it's not about statistics. It's about a goal by McGill. I think it's number 28, Bottas, who has scored at that point. 8 point by the McGill's squad. Another break point of this game. TMU still hunting down for their first break point. McGill leading 8-1.
That diamond zone that McGill was applying was very challenging to play against. And we could see that TMU was adapting to it and creating more options. And I think that they'll look at this match after, and they will have even more creative ideas as to how to beat that diamond zone. It's a tricky zone to beat because you've got the one person in the middle that's on the middle handler, and then on each side there is someone looking at a little bit the swing and a little bit the mids that are coming in, and then there's someone that's playing mid. So there's a very good coverage, and McGill is skilled at playing that zone. So it's quite a challenge for TMU to go up against it. And again, there's a little bit of wind that makes long throws just that much more challenging.
So we'll take a short break because we're now at halftime. We will be right back in a couple of minutes for this game facing McGill A versus TMU Women's Division CUUC 2023. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Pour dans la deuxième demi. We are back. CUUC 2023. Brampton, Ontario. Etienne Fournier welcoming you with Chantal Dussault to attend this game featuring McGill A from Montreal, wearing the dark jerseys, facing off TMU from Toronto in the white jerseys. The score so far is 8-1 in favor of the McGill squad. There's a slight wind, which caused some trouble to both teams so far. McGill kicking off this second half with the pull, which unfortunately lands out of bound. So Chantal, how would you summarize this first half in regards? Maybe if you were TMU, was there like if they had one thing you'd like to adjust for the output of this game, what would it be?
I think maybe two. First one is closing off the break side, especially close to the end zone, because most of the points that McGill has been able to do have been a swing and then a point in the break side of the end zone. And then the second one is just adjusting to that diamond cup that McGill does. And we're seeing it now, that diamond cup. And I think that TMU is adjusting. Look at how wide they're playing now, which is key.
Great battle in the end zone, which is seems to have been caught at the exact same time. Hard to tell.
If it's the exact same time, then typically the offense would keep possession of it.
Pearson, Ernest, Pearson from TMU, Ernest from McGill. They're talking. I mean, it's hard to tell. I believe it was at the exact same time from our point of view. Ernest feels arguing that, I think I caught it, maybe.
It's so hard to say.
Mini split second before you, Pearson. And Pearson's, well, I kind of disagree.
I mean, we saw it, Etienne, but even
It's
I
hard.
was watching, but I can't tell.
The observers discussing what
cannot
have
tell.
they seen. It doesn't seem to be like a black and white, so
No,
I
and
would believe it will be an offense ruling in that instance, but very, very hard to play. But one thing is good for TMU is that they were able to find a hole, moving the disc around and quickly feeding Pearson. And how athletic is she? We've seen her throughout the game running around, offer herself as a target inside, as a target long. She's done some defense also. So great athlete from the TMU squad.
and great handling by Power as well.
Yeah.
She's been key in some of the offense strategies with her handling skills. Let's see what's happening here. The observers seem to be discussing. Even when we're playing it, it's very difficult to say if we've caught it at the same time or if we've caught it first, because really our hands only feel what we feel. So it's a very difficult situation to call.
It seems to been ruled out that it's a TMU disc, but the rule says that if it's being caught at the same time, it's an offense possession. So I think that's what has been ruled out. Nonetheless, TMU threatening. A small little flick from Pearson, finding, I think it's number 5, Perso, for TMU's second point of the game. Still trailing 8-2, but a good way to kick off this second half by the TMU offense squad.
It's anybody's game at this point, Etienne, and we've seen now that TMU can adapt to that diamond zone, and what they've done there that's made a really big difference is they've made their handlers work wider on the field. And so what that enabled was for them to have a little bit more room and then to be able to put that throw long, which was caught as we saw. So I think at this point,
Who knows? Who knows?
It's still anyone's game.
So as we mentioned, Chantal, there's over 60 teams attending that event, which makes it the biggest tournament in Canada. Not only this year, but it's the biggest tournament every year for the numbers of teams. So even there's the Canadian Championship during the summer season for the junior, for the senior, and the master. There's not as many teams as for the CUUC. So
there's such a positive energy here as well. You can just feel everyone being so excited to be here and great spirits.
Amazing pull by Michaela Power. What a player from the TMU squad. Zone-ish defense against played by TMU. McGill with 4 handler. Adapting to 3. TMU trying to trap McGill along the sideline, but Megan McGill finding some holes. Number 28, Bottas, great pivot, resetting to Smith, finding some hole, giving some direction to her teammate. Number 63, Wong. Now here's the hole. Going upward, entering the red zone along the sideline. Montreal, 15 yards away from their goal, which they are confirming. Yes, the observers with their two hands up, confirming there is no call. So it's a clean point by McGill, taking back a 7-point lead in this game. It's 9-2. Montreal against Toronto.
It almost seemed like TMU was putting on a bit of the McGill's medicine there with a bit of a diamond zone, but McGill was able to do some quick handling in the back, and with some athleticism, they were able to get out of it and find some options in the middle, and eventually score. So that was well played by McGill. Good way to defend to come back after TMU was putting in that diamond-like zone.
So, in order to qualify for this national championship, each team had to compete in their own province. And after that, there was a re-ranking for the Eastern teams, like Quebec and Ontario. So they organized a tournament in order to establish the ranking, because Canada being the country that it is, it's very, very wide. So, and of course, those athletes having a limited budget in regards of moving around and taking airplanes from either east to west or west to east. So they had to qualify amongst their province. After that, confirming their seats with the regional competition, and all that within 8 weeks. So that's just amazingly squeezed season for those university athletes. TMU losing possession. McGill.
The wind has changed direction, Etienne, and so it's now going in the opposite direction than it was before.
Great pass, but maybe a little too quick. Nguyen could not get a hang on it. Power. Looking for an inside target. Going long. It's floating, and it's been, almost caught by Tang. Not sure she was anticipating that throw, but nonetheless, she fought for it. Illness going sideways. McGill threatening once again. Morissette with the disc, flicking it to Illness. Wearing great shoes, great pink shoes. Just love them. Illness.
She puts it long.
Great flick. Finding Nguyen in the end zone. And we are entering the double-digit zone on the point, on the scoreboard. Now McGill leading 10-2.
There's a lot of depth in the McGill team. I mean, there's so many players have those sticky hands, agile cuts, discipline. So it's a team that is very athletic and fun, as we can see them jumping around, and just really happy with that point.
And if you're a receiver and you're gonna give that long option if your handler can put it, and if you're a handler, you have it, and if your receiver goes, you will feed it. So it kind of feed one another, everybody trusting their teammates in order of their skills and ability of either getting themselves open or throwing the disc around. So it just makes it a defense challenge, which TMU has so far not been to resolve.
McGill also gives a good variety of cuts. They're very creative with their cuts. So sometimes it's up the line, sometimes it's across, sometimes it's long. So that also makes it challenging to defense.
So we mentioned that we have a schedule of 10 games for this weekend that will be webcast live. So we are now at our first assignment. Our next assignment will be at 1:15 Eastern Time, and we will be in the Open Division. So still a game to go to Division 1. We don't have the teams yet, but we will for sure share the teams if we can get our hands on it before the end of this webcast. But in the meantime, horizontal stack played by McGill.
Lepshina just caught it, and she's the one who made that D on the long throw, giving McGill possession once more.
So we just witnessed, great
Oh,
defense by number 4, Nettleton. Very well anticipated that reset pass and just denying it. Pio Quinto putting the disc in the middle. Great break pass by number 33, Shan, threatening less than 1 yard away from the end zone, and it's being caught. And it's confirmed by the observer, Cindy Shan, granting TMU squad their third point of the game. And you see the reaction on the sideline. Her teammate are very, very happy about the output of this last action.
And again, what's funny about that point was such teamwork. There was not one super power player. It was everyone had their bit to do with that point, and it was such a great team effort. So great job on TMU for that point. On the break side as well. A lot of points being scored on the break side today, Etienne.
There is, indeed, indeed. We love celebration.
We do.
Team celebration. We don't like celebration like with attitude and like spiking that. Nah, you like everybody to cheer and
TMU, they were telling me they have this funny cheer. They go TMU and then they go I love you.
Oh, that's so nice.
I love that cheer. They're a very fun team. They're new players, but they're very athletic players. And we've seen a lot of attempts at layouts and bids and things like this. So it's a new team, and it'll be one to watch, in the upcoming years for sure.
It's all about improving and competing and learning. Now we're hearing I think it's the McGill squad singing some songs. Not only are we having a great ultimate show to attend, but there's some musical aspect to it, which is always very, very entertaining.
Game and a show.
It never gets boring on an ultimate field. That's one thing for sure.
We can see that.
In the meantime, McGill, miscuing. The target was number 29, Allah, but just a little out of reach. So TMU threatening with a break opportunity. They haven't scored a break point in the game so far, but they are now threatening power, looking to quarterback this offense possession. Great movement. Pearson opening herself up on the break side. We are in the red zone, centering it. Great defense. Tons of pressure by Ernest, which leads to that Pio Quinto drop. McGill, once again, in possession. It seems like a one-on-one defense. Once again, the pass and run game by McGill is impressive and doing some damage, but miscued on the long play. Kane was the intended receiver, but a little too far away. And you hear the McGill squad cheering their defensive squad on the team. Power finding Pearson. Her again. I've been repeating myself, but what an athlete. What a game is she having. Power saving the day with this great layout grab in his second effort. Some top 10 material provided by number 19, Power from TMU. Once again, Power, even though there's a ton of pressure on her, she finds herself free as a target. Number 4, Nettleton, flicking it, even though there's a ton of pressure. 11, Laura, securing it, going up the line, but this time, number 29, Adal denies it, shutting down this break opportunity by TMU. There's a long game, backing in, and great effort by number, I think it's 63 or number 88. Unfortunately, Flam could not get control over that disc, even though she did a great layout effort.
Yeah, and I'm looking for who's number 3 who did that long throw, but I just don't have it on my list. Oh, here we go. McGill gaining possession again.
Quick turnover. Oh, what a thrifty little blade by 39 Illness. I think she's laughing at herself. So what,
Yes.
what did I just do?
This is a
I
non-common
just bladed
throw.
it to my teammate. Was there any other option? Well, any complete pass is always the best option you had. So when it's incomplete, though, then you might have a little chat with your teammate or your coach saying, well, there might have been some other option there. But it was completed.
It worked. Right.
So McGill, 11th point of the game. Their O-line securing this possession. It's one thing that I've been involved in the ultimate community for many years, and that's one thing that evolved the depth of the handling skills of the overall players, like the average. I remember 20 years ago, you really had like some handlers and with cutters, and when you were a cutters, you were not a handler, so you were resetting it.
Right.
But today, you see those players, they go long, they go in, they handles, they can go break, they flick, they back end, they blade, as we just
They blade
witnessed.
apparently, and it works
They
apparently.
scuba it.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
Yeah,
The
most teams
wideness.
will still have dedicated handlers, but I agree with you. It's the depth of everyone on the teams. I mean, you're right. Years ago, it just the skills with the disc were not at the level that they are today. Absolutely.
And we've also witnessed over the last 20 years the depth of the university competing teams, the skills of those players, women's and men, just keeps improving every year. Once again, Power to Pearson. There was a call, but it was caught. So TMU threatening on the doorstep what can be their 4th point of the game. And it's confirmed, yes, by the observers. TMU adding a 4th point on the scoreboard, trailing by 7, 11-4 against McGill.
Such a clean point, this one. It was very good ultimate, very clean cuts and good handling, and just made its way naturally on the open side to the end zone. Just a textbook play there, Kitien. Why make things complicated when you can make them simple?
Well, if you want to maybe oversimplifying, ultimate is pretty straightforward. Keep possession of the disc and you will not get into trouble.
That's right.
But that's not always what's happening. Sometimes you lose possession of the disc and you get broken. For those who are less familiar with the sport, when we say they score a break point, if you do a parallel with tennis, so when you're on serve on tennis, you are usually winning the game. So same thing on ultimate. When you start the point on offense, the logic will say that you will score. If your O-line don't score and get scored on, that's what we call a break point.
And if the O-line goes on to score, we call that a hold.
A hold. And we might say also the break pass. What would we mean by a break pass? So you'll see the mark defending whoever holds the disc will force the player to throw on a specific side. So when you can put the disc on the side they are avoiding you to throw into, that's what we call a break pass. TMU going with a zone defense, which had create troubles to McGill squad, but now they are finding holes.
Oh.
TMU defense, Mayday, Mayday, running out. McGill's in control, but oh, unfortunate drop by Flam. They were in a great possession of converting this offense hold, but they were a couple of yards short of doing so. TMU with a break opportunity. Number 5 attacking the ends. Pearso. She has played a great game also, like Pearson and Powell. And so is Pio Quinto with the disc right now, feeding her teammate Power. Midfield, about 10 yards short of the break mark. Resetting to Power. Pio Quinto with the disc. McGill shutting down the in cuts. Power going long. And oh, almost caught by Pearso. There was some defense pressure, so she tried to really position herself underneath the disc, but it made it a difficult catch to do. Montreal, nice pass and run. Smiling, saying again, give it back to me, run. Nice flick between the two defenders. Wow, what an execution by number 3 and Ernest, who just passed and run it like from the midfield down to the end zone, securing McGill their 12th point of the game, leading by 8.
Some quick feet and some quick throws by Ernest and number 3. Definitely those ISOs are tough to defense, and the TMU teams were doing what they could, but there was just a lot of quick playing there and some agile hands and sticky hands, precise throws, fast breaks. There's little we can do.
So we've been playing now for an hour, almost an hour, 15 minutes for a game that is intended to last an hour, 20 minutes. So we're entering the last 7 minutes ish of the game.
And when we come to the end of the time, there will be a horn, and then that point will be played to completion, and that will be the end of the game.
So trailing by 8 with 7 minutes remaining. How reasonable is a comeback possible for TMU?
I
I'd
never say never.
odds are pretty. Never say never. You never say never. But still, one thing's for sure: TMU is here to play some good old, well-foughted ultimate.
Exactly. And they're
So
going
they
to give
will
it their
play
all.
until
Here
the
we
end.
go.
33 with the disc. Great grab. I think it's Pio Quinto. Great little push pass to Power. Faking it, but holding it back, finding Pearson. What a great combination these two are having. Great chemistry, great athleticism, great timing. Oh, nice bid by 33 Shen, but just out of reach. McGill with another break opportunity. Bottas flicking it along the sideline, but was that cutting? It's out of bound, is ruling the observers. So turnover for TMU. Nettleton would put the disc back into play. Faking it back end. Looking for Power. Time is running out. Great grab by Shen. Going open side to Pearson. Some momentum on the TMU side right now. Pearson, power, opening yourselves up along up the line, going long, floaty. Black and white jerseys are in there, but it's being denied by McGill's defense. There was 3 dark jerseys and only 1 white jerseys. So Pearson was the intended receiver. McGill quickly putting the disc back into movement, going upward, resetting it. Once again, not allowing the stall to get any higher than 2 or 3. Very tough to defend. Williams giving it back to Smith. Now it's Keith. Once again, McGill is just rumbling down the end zone for another point. They're 13 of the game, leading by 9 with less than 5 minutes to be played in the game.
That was Smith to Lepchina in a classic, beautiful flow up the field. Again, as soon as McGill got possession of that disc, they were very athletic, gave many options, and were just able to flow through all the way up into the end zone. Good classic ultimate.
Why make it complicated when you can make it simple?
Exactly.
Just move the disc, give some option ins. You rather move the disc at just a few yards than waiting and waiting for the long gain. That was a great display of disc movement by the dark jerseys from Montreal. In order to qualify for this game, these 2 teams, at least TMU, have played 1 team earlier this morning. So they're already playing their second game of the team. So is McGill.
That's right. So both teams had won 1 game prior to coming into this game. And so that's why the outcome of this game decides who goes on to play in Division 1. Division 1 being the top 8 teams in Canada. And that's going to happen, the rest of the competition is going to happen over 2 more days. So this is day 1 of 3 days of competition. So these players have a long way to go still.
Approximately 3 minutes remaining. Pearson going long to power. Oh, we have seen that usually it's power feeding Pearson, but now they've tried to switch roles. It didn't work this time, but I'm pretty sure they have connected in the past. McGill once again moving it up. Ernest leading the way, going long, and it's caught by number 1. Nguyen resetting in to Ernest. Great disc movement up the line, but Ernest rather resetting it to her teammate wearing number 3. Ernest once again. There was a pick call in the stack. So you'll see the defender when there's a pick call. Whoever was the victim of the call can catch up on the player they were defending. No arms. The disc is back into play. Montreal in the red zone. Once again, passing and rolling up the line. Great grab by the Montreal handler, and Illness just continuing, and observers confirming Montreal 14th point of the game. They are 1 point shy of ending the game. But there's probably like 90 seconds remaining. So
again, some classic up the line cuts and a lot of room on the field. So that's definitely one of the strengths of the McGill team is how much room they have to play. So it gives room to the handlers to go and make those up the line cuts. They've got options to do some resets in the middle and then potentially go swing and get a break side throw and score. So they have a lot of options because they're so disciplined and there's so much room on the field.
So we are a couple of minutes shy while we hear the horn blowing, signaling the hard cap. So this will be the last point of the game.
So now, Etienne, I'm ready to say that it's
You are.
probably going to be McGill A.
There
It's
you
going
go.
to.
So we are towards the end of this first assignment for the CUUC web stream live from Brampton, Ontario. The next assignment will be at 1:15 Eastern Time, where we'll feature also a game to go for Division 1, but this time in the Open Division. So that will be our second assignment. I will have the great pleasure of calling the game with Devon Asemota, which is now acting as on the camera, doing an amazing job. And our third, last, while we're seeing TMU scoring the last point of the game. What a great way to end the game. Even though they trailed all along the game, they are putting a nice final note to this game.
I love that. I love that number 19 there, Power was it?
Power.
Power did that long throw because she's been key to this whole play, and for her to get that long throw out into the end zone and caught, it was just such a great way to end the game. So final score
14-5 in favor of McGill A squad. That was our first assignment for this National Championship University for 2023. We will talk to you at 1:15 for the for a qualification game leading to Division 1, but this time in the Open Division. And our third and last assignment for today will be once again in the women's division, this time at 2:55 p.m., where Chantal and Devon will describe this game. So 1:15, we'll touch base with all of you. Thanks for being there. Thank you very much, Chantal,
Thank you,
for
Etienne.
doing such an amazing job at commentating this game. My name is Etienne Fournier. We will talk to you at 1:15. In the meantime, stay safe, go outside, and throw some disc. Take care.
Take care.